According to reliable government sources, the ECTA will not be signed until conclusion of Indian parliamentary elections. As announced by Indian Election Commission yesterday, the election will be concluded on 4th of June. Therefore, according to government plans, there will be around 3 more months before signing the ECTA. We set 4 prerequisites for signing ECTA for the government. This is not for ECTA. In order to get the maximum benefit for Sri Lanka from bilateral free trade agreements, we must set these 4 conditions. Condition 1, the government must formulate a foreign trade policy. Without policy, we don't have criteria to evaluate whether an agreement is favorable or unfavorable for our nation. Unfortunately, we have no such criteria. That is why when we negotiate for a trade agreement, we end up with agreements unfavorable to the nation. Condition number 2, we haven't enacted an act of parliament by setting the procedure for signing a bilateral free trade agreement. Because that is why previous governments were able to secretly sign free trade agreements. That is why foreign countries or foreign governments were able to win over our officials who sit for negotiations on our behalf. Condition number 3, the enacted procedure must contain a rule that the draft agreement must be published at least 1 month before the signing. And there must be a parliamentary debate at least for 2 days about the contents of the agreement and its negative and positive impacts. The government recently signed a free trade agreement with Thailand. Nobody knows the contents. Recently, a group of professionals have requested a copy of draft agreement of ECTA. Then Presidential Secretariat has refused to give it. Hence, publication of the draft agreement must be made mandatory. Condition number 4, our first free trade agreement was signed in 1998 with India. That is the first agreement of India as well. Since then, we have signed free trade agreements with several countries such as Pakistan, Thailand, Singapore for the last 26 years. So we have a period long enough to evaluate the impact of these agreements. Unfortunately, our governments have never done such an evaluation. Therefore, government must evaluate the positive and negative outcomes of the previously signed free trade agreements and report to Parliament. We cannot benefit out of any free trade agreement without fulfilling these 4 prerequisites.